So in this video, we will be talking about dynamic CMS and its pricing. But before that, we need to understand what is dynamic CMS. Well, dynamic CMS stands for Dynamic Content Management System. And there's a high chance that you're already aware of content management systems and may have already used one. If you have ever published a blog post on WordPress, you have used CMS before. WordPress is one of the most widely used CMS in the world. So let's use the example of a WordPress blog to better understand the concept of dynamic CMS. So I'm going to take you to my blog here. So you can see this is how when you log into the backend of WordPress, this is how you write a blog post. But when you hit publish and when you see it on the front end, it looks completely different. So what appears on the front end is a result of a dynamic process. If you have used WordPress before, you know that the content layout presented on the front end is decided by the chosen theme or the template. Whether it's the layout, design, or overall look and feel, it's all determined by the theme. So it is showing the blog data via a template or a theme. Now, this is the basis of a dynamic CMS. Now imagine we want to showcase a specific information related to a contact, like a profile page. So what should we do now? We need to show probably contact's picture, name, address, and other relevant details dynamically when someone visits their profile page. This is where Ontraport shines and the power of dynamic CMS comes into play, allowing us to create templates that dynamically pulls and showcase values based on user interactions. Now that leads us to the objects, specifically custom objects. When we go back to the pricing and when we go to dynamic CMS, you would see for the dynamic CMS, one of the major differences is the number of custom objects included. You can see in the startup plan, custom objects included are 2, and in builder it's 5, and in architect it's 8. And if you want more than that, you can either buy each additional custom objects at $20 a month, or if you have a higher, bigger requirement, you can get a custom pricing under a visionary plan. So this is where we need to understand what exactly is a custom object. But before that, it is a good idea to understand what is a normal object or an object. In the world of software engineering, there is a concept called object-oriented programming. And as the name suggests, it is based on the concept of objects, which is an instance of a class. Now, what is a class? Well, a class is a blueprint for creating objects or a particular data structure. So if we just oversimplify everything, an object is a collection of records with the same data structure. So in Ontraport, the default object is contacts. Since CRM is a core of Ontraport, that makes complete sense. So when you create a new contact, it always gets created with all the fields that we have defined under contacts. Even if you don't have a value for a certain field, it is ready to accept a value when we are ready to enter that value. So here is what I meant. When you click on new contact, it always gets created with the same data structure, first name, last name, email, and all these things. And if you want to have a field, or if you want to remove a field, what you do is, if you go to contact settings and then you select field editor and then you add a new field here, let's say family name, yes, it's a text, and then if you create this, so you have that here, and then you can add whatever you want, and then when you save it and when you go back to create a new contact, you would see first name, last name. Now you have family name. So whatever records you create from now on will have this data structure. So that's what you meant by an object and the object records. And object records will always have the same data structure. So that's all about the contact object or the normal object of Ontraport. Now imagine you want to run an event and you want to store the data for the event, such as the date of the event, name of the event, ticket prices, and so on. If it's just 1 or 2 events in a year, you could have added extra fields in the contacts records and possibly save those details in there for the participating contacts. But what if you have 2 or 3 events every month, or maybe even every week? How would you keep track of it? That's when the true power of Ontraport comes again in terms of custom objects. So you can create a custom object for virtual events and one for tickets. In this case, you are creating 2 custom objects, and then you can connect that with other custom objects or objects via a relationship, a database relationship. So you can connect contact to ticket, you can connect contact to virtual events, and you can connect virtual events to ticket, and they are all interconnected, and you can keep track of who is doing what and all that thing. And when it comes to showing in the front end, for example, if a contact visits their profile page, they can see which all virtual events they are subscribed to and the corresponding tickets for that events and so on. That's where the true power of dynamic CMS comes in, and that's how all the objects and dynamic templates are all working together to show you a very dynamic output. So this is the underlying principle of dynamic CMS. It is a front-end representation of records stored in a relational database. So if we take a moment and recap, we will see that contact is a default object in Ontraport, and anything else that we create for our business requirement is a custom object. And there are some pre-installed objects. You can find them under app section. So these are custom objects that you create by going to administrator and then custom objects. This is where you create new custom objects. So you go to your profile image and then you click on the apps. You will see there are some extra objects which you can toggle on, and it will be part of your system. Companies, deals, surveys, and virtual events are already comes with your system. All you have to do is toggle this on. When you toggle this on, it will tell you that Ontraport will convert the company field in your contact record from text to relationship when you enable the company's app. So what happens is that when you go to contacts, when you create a new contact, you would see there's a company. This is a text field where you can say that my company name is Ontraport, for example, or my company name is Martech. So when you activate this app saying that I want company's data as an object, not as a custom field under contact, it starts to create a relationship between that contact and this company object. So that's what it says. This will convert the company field into an object, into a relationship. So now if we go back to this new contact that we created, you can see the company has become a relational field. But now you can connect this person to a company, and they a relationship will be formed between this object and that object. We will discuss all this in detail when we go in depth with dynamic CMS, but for now you just need to understand that you can toggle these apps on from this collection, and these doesn't need dynamic CMS. But when it comes to blogs, courses and lessons and forums, you need to have access to dynamic CMS. So when you click toggle this on, it will tell you you need a dynamic CMS, you need to choose a plan. So now which plan should you choose? In the case of blogs, when you toggle this on, it will install two custom objects. One would be for the blog post and another would be for the blog comments. So now if you go back to the pricing page and enable dynamic CMS, you would see the custom objects included are number two of them in starter plan, 5 of them in builder plan, and 8 of them in architect plan. If you want more than that, you can buy each of the additional custom objects $20 per month, or if your requirement is massive, then you probably need a custom pricing under a visionary plan. So if you want a blog custom object installed on your account, you need to have two custom objects, one for the blog post, one for the blog comments. So you need to choose the starter plan. So now you want blogs and courses and lessons, which means 2 from blog and 1 for courses, 1 for lessons. So in total you need 4 custom objects. So you can either buy 2 plus 2 each from here, or you can just opt in for a builder plan and get 5 custom objects. So that's a thing to remember when you're choosing a dynamic CMS plan, how many custom objects you need and which plan is better for you. Now, there are a few other differences as well, which you have to be aware before deciding which plan to choose from. And that one is record stored per custom objects. So in the case of the blogs, if you turn this on, and then you can create 2000 blog posts under starter plans. That is the record stored per custom object. In this case, the blog post is the custom object, and you can create 2000 blog posts under starter plan. If you're going to go with more than that, if you have like 10,000 posts or something like that, you would need builder plan, and if it is 25,000 records, you need architect plan. So this is not just in the case of blog post. Blog post is just one of the custom objects. For example, if you have if you create a custom object for students, just to keep track of the students, and then you can have 2000 students under that custom object if you are in starter plan. Hope that makes sense. Now, another major thing you need to be aware of is the unique dynamic record displayed per month. So in the case of a blog post, you can show a single blog post to 500 people. So 500 unique records can be displayed under starter plan. If you have more visitors, for example, like there are 5,000 unique visitors are visiting one blog post page, you probably need the builder plan. Same like if your traffic is 20,000 unique record displays per month, you need architect plan. Now that's the unique view per month. Now you have also a total dynamic record displayed per month. So that's 10,000 in starter plan, so that a person can repeatedly see one blog post 10,000 times in a starter plan. After that, I believe that the record won't be visible, or you probably have to upgrade your plan. And the same numbers like 10,000 under starter plan, 50,000 under builder plan, and 200,000 under architect plan. So depending on your traffic, you have to decide which plan is better suited for you. Let's say 3 deciding factors. One is the traffic, one is the number of records you want to store, and then how many custom objects you need. These are the deciding factors in selecting a dynamic CMS pricing plan. All dynamic CMS comes with custom objects, of course, and then they also have app templates, which we've seen before. They all have a database driven page templates as well. When you install one of these, it also installs page templates, which will make it easier and faster to get started with all these dynamic CMS. And it also have dynamic page hosting, which means that when you hit publish on that blog post, it goes and creates a URL depending on what kind of URL structure you've set in the backend. And as soon as you hit publish, that URL is available, and when you click on it, you can see the actual page in the front end. So that is dynamic page hosting. Now, dynamic blocks, you can, instead of having a whole page, you can actually use one section and then have a dynamic content coming into that section using dynamic blocks. For example, like if you have your home page and you want to show all your blog post, the new blog post, you can use a dynamic block in that home page and show your latest blog post in a grid layout. So that's these two work together, dynamic blocks and grid layout. Now, in case someone wants to search for your dynamic content, like for example, they want to search for a specific blog post on a specific keyword or a topic, they can just use the search feature, which is also available under all plans. Now, roll-up fields is more like a summation of a certain fields or certain activities. So for example, like if you have a button to say that I like this blog post, and then it creates a relationship between the contact who liked the blog post, then you can use a roll-up field to sum up all the number of likes for that blog post. And when you show this roll-up field in the front end, it will show like 10 people like this blog post, 15 people like this blog post, something like that. And filter and sort is available from the builder plan. It works with the search feature. So if you want to filter and sort the search results, you need filter and sort feature, which is available from builder plan. Now you have dynamic list HTML tags. This is a bit more advanced way of representing a dynamic block. Instead of a block, you can actually use within the part of a block. For example, inside a column, you can use the HTML tags such as the div tag, and then you can pull the data into that div tag and show the results of that dynamic list inside a smaller section. So this basically allows you to style a smaller section or however you want. If you're very proficient in HTML, you can do a lot of things with dynamic list HTML tags. So that, since it's a very advanced feature, it's only available under architect plan. So basically that's all about dynamic CMS and its pricing. We will go in depth about dynamic CMS in another video, but for now this is all about the introduction to dynamic CMS and the pricing. Thank you so much.